All right, I think we're live. We are here. Just going to get the link up for this little shelf sitter that we're doing tonight. And I'll pin that up there. Hello, Barbara. Thanks for joining. So today is Thrifty Thursday, and we are doing this little blank for Thrifty Thursday. So this one is on discount for 25% off today only until midnight tonight at Eastern Standard Time. So I have pinned the link for this. If you decide you want to get one, you can grab one today for 25% off. And after that, it goes back to regular price. So we're going to paint this one. I have not yet painted this one, so we're doing it together. And we're going to see how it goes. And see how, as always, we're winging it. All right. So we have our little Highland here, and he's in several little pieces. But I think I'm going to do my pinks first. I'm going to do my balloons. I'm going to do my letterbox as well. Just a sec here. I'm going to get the child to stop yelling at his video game just for a few minutes while his mother does a live. All right. Hello, Deanna. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get to it. So this little love letter box, it goes like this. This is how it fits together. So we have the backer. This fits over top. Then we have the little letter that goes here, the handle, and then there's a tiny little heart that goes on the front of it. So there's some tiny pieces in this. This measures about 7 by 7, this little shelf sitter. So if you need to get an idea for size. So let's get that part. We're going to just move this little guy aside for a second. We're going to work just on this piece here for now. So let's get started with the letter. We're going to do the base that in white. Let's get this done. I think the best way to do it is to just do it in pieces like this so we're not all over the map and confused. So let's just go ahead and do it piece by piece. How's everyone doing tonight? Freezing cold here. Freezing. Froze my butt this morning getting out there in the morning. Didn't like it. I'm not plugged in. I think it was something like minus 15 this morning Celsius, which is, dang cold. That's all I know. It was dang cold. How about you guys? Are you coming out of the cold snap yet? I unplugged that last night, so, I like to go around and unplug everything. Paranoia. So I'm just putting a couple coats on this. Who's saying hello to me? All right, so we have this base. We're going to do a little shading on this as well after we get all of these pieces base coated. And I'm going to do this backer, and I have two different pinks here on my plate. You can see one sort of peeking out around my face there. But I have poodle skirt pink and carousel pink is what I'm using for my pink colors. And the red that I'm going to use is Tuscan red, as always. I like that one. Seems to cover the best. Knock on wood, we've been pretty lucky on the West Coast. Some wind, some rain, no snow, no freezing temps. Oh yeah, you're out in BC, aren't you? My mama and my sister are out in BC. So we're going to do the lighter pink for the back part. Are you on the island or are you on the mainland? I can't remember. I should know that. Oh, the fires in California are just heartbreaking. I can't imagine losing everything like that. Scary. I mean, it's sounding like Canada there in the last few years. We've had some nasty fires too. I can't even imagine how frightening that would be, trying to get out of that mess. Mild in New Brunswick. +1? What? It's usually the other way around. You guys are usually colder than us, but you're getting all the good weather down there. +1. What the heck? Well, I'm happy for you. I think the high today was -4, and it seemed like summer out there. It was like, oh, finally some relief, but I think it's supposed to dip back down again tonight. I sound like an old lady talking about the weather. What is that all about? All right, so we have our light pink on there. I'm just kind of lightly going over those letters because I don't want to fill in the grooves of the edge of the engraving because I want to be able to read it. All right, so I'll set that aside. And then this part I'm going to do in the darker pink. So I'm reusing my sponges. Darker pink. So this is carousel pink. And we don't really have to, you know, paint over where that little letter goes because it's going to be layered up. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. Just leave that bare. All right, I'll put a second coat on this. Kind of excited to paint this little Highland, see how he comes out. You're on the mainland, Miss Deanna. That's what I thought. My mom and my sister are on the island. Carol, I'd gladly send it down to you. You can have it. We're not married to it. I mean, I'm not. I'll give it away to anyone who wants it. I have about a 20-minute drive to work, and just as I'm getting there, the car is starting to warm up. You know, it's a cold ride the whole way, pretty much. Thank goodness for heated seats because I would probably be suffering. You know, isn't that one few things you can't do without when you buy a new car now? It's like air conditioning, heated seats. I'm pampered now in my old age. Spruce Grove, Alberta. Well, hello, Candace. Okay, so I think that's pretty good for that. All right, so what do we have left here? Oh yes, we have to do this little handle in that same color. So we'll do that in the darker pink as well. And then we have our little heart, and then we can start to put this piece together. And then we'll move on from there. So I think I'm going to do my heart in that dark color as well, in that dark pink. I decided right there on the fly. I'm going to do that. Oh, you were born in Vic? They are, I'm telling my family secrets here. They are up on the Malahat, somewhere up in there. Up on the mountain. Up living with the bears up there, somewhere in the mountain. I haven't been to the new house that they're in. The last time I was there, which was once, I've only been out there once, out to Vic, and that was years ago. And they lived in Victoria then. All right, so let us, we're going to put a little bit of, we're going to do a little shading and stuff on this just to spruce it up a little bit. So I'm going to get my gray. And search for my angled brush. Hi, sweet Pat, how are you? How's things down there in Quebec? Cold is here, no doubt. I'm still whining about the weather. You guys get pretty much the same as we get. We're close enough to each other. We get the same crap. All right, so I'm just going to put a bit of that slate gray around the outer edge of my letter. These are cute. They have all of the engraved lines in these around the outer edges and the letter itself, which is nice. Dry that. And I'm going to also do a little bit just under this. Probably a bit too much, but add some water and we'll bring that down a little bit. I want to just put a little bit in here around where the folds are. Just in behind those. I know, sounds like it's a little, a little persnickety to do all these little shades, but I think it just makes the whole piece kind of pop when you add all these extra little details to it. We could, we could paint it just plain old colors, and it, in my opinion, it would look nice, but not as nice as adding all the little extras. All right, so now we can see the folds on there. I'm just going to take a little bit of white. Spruce up those edges a bit. All right, so I'm going to leave that alone now. We'll set that aside. And this part here is kind of inside there. So I think I'm going to speckle this a little bit. Just for the heck of it. I'm going to add a little bit of speckle to that. Where's my toothbrush? There it is. So I'm just going to add some white speckle to this background part. Let's see that'll work. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but I can. Add a little something to it. Can you guys see the speckles on there? I don't know if you can. A little bit. I actually want them to be a little bit more dominant than that. I'm going to try and go in there again. I have a lot of water on my toothbrush. I don't want that much. I'm not getting any big ones. All right, we're going to move on. Moving on. I think it's okay. Hello, Miss Kelly. And then we'll take this piece, and I think I'm going to add a little bit of, where's my Merlot? I'm going to take some cherry Merlot, and I think I'm going to try and shade this a little bit and then highlight it with some white. We'll see how that looks. If it doesn't look good, you know, then we can just repaint it. We can paint over it. It's not a huge deal. Whoops. That's how it works. And I'm just going to go on these bottom edges a little bit here. And then I'm going to glue this little mailbox together. And then we can set it aside and carry on with our next pieces. Put a little bit up the side here. Hello, Miss Sue. Yes, Miss Kelly, long time no see for sure. We got through Christmas. We made it. It was a hectic time. Fourth quarter is always like so busy that you can hardly come up for air at some points. But we made it through. All right, let's dry that, and then we'll put a little white highlight on the top edges. All right, let's add some white up here. And put it together, see how we did. Oh my gosh, yes. I'm sure it was busy for you being a hairdresser. Oh my gosh, everybody wants their hair done before Christmas. I can't even imagine. Your poor feet, your hands, everything. You must have been, you needed a glass of wine after that, no doubts. Were you double booking, triple booking yourself just to get through it? Oh my God, I can't even imagine. I don't envy you that, for sure. All right, so let's dry that a smidgy. And then these two tiny little pieces, we're going to do the same with this little heart. We're going to put some Merlot, cherry Merlot on the bottom edge of that. We're going to put a little white highlight on the top of it. Such a tiny little piece, but we're going to do it anyway because we can. And then this piece here, I'm just going to put a little bit of that cherry Merlot on the edge of it too. You know, which might sound crazy, but in the end, you know, I'm going to be happy that I did, I'm sure of it. Oh my gosh, that's too much. 2 weeks straight. Whoa. How many days did you have off? 2? After all that? You probably had to go straight back to work after Boxing Day. Or did you take a break? All right, let's get this little ditty glued together. So, see, that's going to be cute. That'll work. I think it's going to work. All right, let's get our glue out. Oh, you took the week off. Well, that's good. Got a bit of a break. I'm just going to go all the way around this edge, and then we can kind of slide that right on there. So I'm using the Type Bond Quick and Thick, it's called, for this. So it looks like I have some glue to clean off of here, which is fine. It dries clear, but I do like to clean off the excess. I'm not worried about the back so much, but in here I do want to clean it with my little stylus. So I don't like the big excess amount of glue on there. And it dries fast enough that it gets thick quick enough that it scrapes right off of there. Lovely. All right, we'll put our letter on. Get these little indentations in the right place here, so it lines up properly. So they go on the bottom. This is why I kind of like to paint these with you so that you see how they go together. Because sometimes when you get all those little pieces, it can be a little overwhelming as to what the heck do I do with them? Where do they go? How does it go together? All right. And then we have our little handle. You don't need very much of this glue. It sticks pretty good. So I have this right side up with the Merlot on the bottom and the highlight on the top. And then we can get our little heart on, and then that's done. And we can move on to, I think we're going to go on to the cow. Let's just dive in there because I'm kind of excited to paint him, see how he comes out. All right, so there's our little mailbox. We have that ready to roll. So I'm just going to set my mailbox up there, probably out of camera, but that way I won't get paint on it and mess it up. Alrighty, so next up, we have this little guy here. So we don't have letters that go in his hands as well, but we'll set that aside for a second. We have his feet and these ones here. Just make sure which way is what. So we have his little hooves here that go on this piece. So these are the right side up. All right, so we have those two. We'll do those black and we'll start there. Let's just start with his feet. Easy peasy. And a new sponge. A new old sponge. And we'll just dab that black right on there. Again, as always, we're going to do some shading after we get all of these little pieces base coated. Okay, so I'm going to set those aside. This muzzle I'm going to do with some of the natural buff. And dry that quickly. I just want to see how much I'm going to be seeing on here. Oh my gosh, I was in fear there for a second. I thought, don't tell me I'm missing a piece again. I'll lose it. I'm gonna lose it. I'm not. I'm good. I'm just trying to see which layers I need to paint on this underside. Horns. I think I'm going to paint these little horns the same natural buff color. Might as well do that as we speak. Okay. Little smidge more. And these horns, I didn't get a second coat on those. And Buddy's little nose here. Okay, we can set those aside. And then I think for the base of him, I'm going to do some honey brown. So I think safely I'm just going to paint this whole thing honey brown, because instead of trying to be all cagey about it and, you know, find the spots where we're not to paint and all those things, we'll just do the whole thing honey brown and see how that goes. All right. And I'm going to do the top part and his little under his chin there as well with honey brown for a base. So we're just going to dig right in there and do it. I don't know that those stars are even working or not, Debbie. I mean, honestly, I have no idea. I don't even know if they're still really operational. I think you can just click on it and it should tell you how to. I keep meaning to take that down and I keep forgetting. All right, I think I'm going to need some more of that. So I know I'm painting in areas that are going to be covered by another layer. But like I said, it's just easier this way than trying to go around all these little things. In here, we don't have to very much in there, but I think this is going to be the quickest and easiest way to do it. So let's dry those guys, and we'll put a second coat on those. This part of its ear. Okay, put another coat on this guy. Maybe I just wipe it on instead of messing about. I'm gonna have to, by wiping it on, I filled in his eye, so I'll have to repaint that. This is another way to learn what not to do when you watch me paint. It's like I should have tapped over top of that eye because it's engraved, and I could have avoided having to repaint it, but it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Okay, let's dry this guy again, and we'll start some shading on this. And I'm going to shade on here, I think, with some burnt umber. Put that on my messy paper here. Okay, so we'll go back into our angled brush. We'll start with this little hair piece from the top. And we'll just shade along these bottom edges a little bit, or outer edges. And you wouldn't think it would make a huge difference to do all this little shading bits and detail bits, but in the long run it does. Just gives them a whole new look. And I think I'm also kind of right where we have these little engraved lines there. So I'm just going to shade along the edges of those just for a little contrast, and then we'll put some lighter colors in here in a moment. So I'm just kind of shading around the edges of the engraved lines. I like that. And then I have his little neck fur here. And we'll just go around the outer edge of that. And then this guy. So we'll go around his tail. And then around the outer edges here. And all these outer edges will be peeking out. So we're going to go around the whole outer edge here of the fur part. We can also touch this up after we get it glued together too, once we see where everything sits. You can always touch them up. Now some of this parts in here will be covered by this top hair piece. I'm going to kind of go around here where his foot is. And kind of right around where that neck piece would sit. I'm going to shade around there and just underneath his face. And same up here. I'm going to go around the sides of his ears just to make those stick out a little bit better. Maybe go around his muzzle a little bit. Again, I'm not sure how much we're going to see here, but we will find out once we glue it all together. And then we'll touch up from there. We're going to add some little hair strands and things onto him, so with some highlight colors. We'll get this basic part done and get them glued together. Go from there. We'll fill in his eye again now that I have painted over it by accident. Because that's how I roll sometimes. It's an oopsie, but it's all fixable. I'm not going to fret about it too much. We can fix it. All right, so I think that's going to be covered, but let us just move this guy out of the way for a second. I want to do his muzzle and his horns. I'm going to use a little bit of melon to shade these. So let's just make sure, I think it's that way, yeah. So we know which side is the bottom side. I believe that is the way it is. So we'll go along this bottom edge and then right where it meets his head, right along there with the melon color. My tape is failing me. Okay, so we'll let that dry. So there's his little horns. And then we'll go along his face. I think I'm going to go along right here where his mouth is. We're going to go up above that. And then his little nostrils here. I want to kind of go around these a little bit just to make those kind of pop out there. Can you guys see that far away? This is a tiny little piece. Kelly, sorry, I was painting and not reading. Yeah, I do like the laser cutter. I do think it's worth it. I've used it a lot since I got it. And since bought a second one, so just because I needed a backup. Just in case I can't afford to have downtime, because when orders come in, because with everything, lasers are a whole different breed of machine. Unless you've, I mean, this is an entry level laser as well. So it's not, one of the great big ones. It's kind of like Glowforge entry level machines. Maybe one day I'll have one of the big CO2 ones, but not yet. Okay, so we have his little face happening here. I just want to dry that. Can you guys see that tiny little piece? It's so far away. I can move in a little bit more, I feel like, just above that tape there. So I'm going to use some white, and I'm going to highlight the top edge of these little nostrils here. I might have to put a couple coats on there because this white kind of fades out on that first coat. And I'm just going to go around here with this white. Craziness just for this tiny little piece, but I think it'll make a difference in the world to just, add these little details. I mean, if you get yours and you don't want to be all, that's too much, you don't have to do it. You don't have to. Just showing you what you can do. Okay, and then we're going to add some white to the top of these horns. And we can start putting some together. We still have to do his letters, his letter. That can come in a second. Let's dry these guys. It was not a difficult learning curve, just because if you've used similar software like Cricut or Silhouette, and you kind of have like a basic knowledge of the software, I think that there's no learning curve at all. But if you haven't used anything like that before, definitely, yes, there would be a bit of a learning curve, I believe. Now, I mean, other people on here might have those machines and say, oh, it's not that hard. Everybody learns differently too. So there's that. But I think if you have a basic knowledge of that kind of design software, I think you're okay. I think you'd be okay. But I've heard a lot of people say that it's probably the easiest. I mean, I'm in several groups, and there's people on there that own big CO2 lasers, and they said for an entry level machine that this one's pretty good. So that's the word, bird. All right, we're gonna paint these letters. So we have, I think this letter is going to be the only thing that kind of shows through this little piece because our hooves and this letter sits on top. So I'm just going to focus on this letter right there. So I think I'm going to just paint this letter thingy, and then we'll start gluing this guy together and adding some details to him. We have some hearts too. We can't forget our little hearts for our letters. So I'm just going to put a couple coats of white on here, and then we'll shade these the same as we did on the letterbox, on the mailbox, with our gray. The brand of laser, it's a We Create. And I mean, they're still reasonably priced, but I mean, they were $3,000 each. Like it's not like it wasn't a couple hundred. That's for sure. It wasn't a couple hundred, or I'd have 6 of them. Okay, let's shade these with some of that gray, and we'll just do it exactly the same as we did the other one. Let's go around the outer edge here, a little bit of that gray. Same on this one. And I don't want you to forget, you guys, even though this is Thrifty Thursday and this is what we're focusing on, we still have our Wooden Whimsy box that our quarterly box that I started. You can get in on the first box until January 19th, and you'll get 3 blanks plus a bonus blank. In all, it's a membership, so it will recur every 3 months, and you'll get a seasonal blank for each of the 3 months, and then a bonus blank. And after the 19th, I'll reveal what was in the January box, and then signups will begin for the April box. So they'll ship 4 times a year: January, April, July, and October. So if you want to get in on that, it's in my Shopify store. You can sign up there, and it's $87 Canadian, and I think it was 50 something American for every 3 months, which isn't too bad for 4 blanks. It's actually a really good deal. And then after the signups are finished for the January box, I will be putting those blanks into my shop at regular price. So if you want to wait and see, I think you'll love it. It's a really good set of blanks for the first quarter. It's a fun bunch of blanks. You will enjoy it, no doubts. And then you'll also be added to our private Facebook group, where I will show you how to paint all of the quarterly blanks, and there'll be videos in there for you to refer back to when you're ready to paint yours. So you get the video tutorials, you'll get supply lists in there, the 4 blanks. It's actually a very good deal for all of that for 87 Canadian. 50 something. You'll have to check in the Shopify store. It will, if you put your country code in, it will do the conversion for you. When you add US, it will show you what the US price is. I can even look after we're done painting here so you have an idea of what is going on. All right. Just going to add a little white in here where I got a little too much gray. Just brighten that back up. Hello, Carolyn. Okay. So let us paint our hearts. So we can do these. I can do a red one. What did I use? I did the dark pink on the one on the mailbox. So I'll do a light pink and a red for these two. So light pink. And then we'll do a red one, which I'll base it first in gray, and then I'll add my red. Gray. Dry those. Thank you, Carolyn. I hope he's going to be cute. We're going to add a few more. We're going to add some details and some fur and all kinds of fun stuff to him yet, I hope. And bloody heck, what did I do? I'll just use the other side of this. So I want a little red for this gray one that I based here. There we go. So we put the gray on first so that we don't have to do as many coats of red. All right, let's glue this guy together, and then we'll, oh, you know what I should do? I should most likely, whoops, shade these feet first and foremost. Let's make sure where we're going with these feet, said feet. And then these go like this. I just want to make sure where they go so I can shade the proper sides. So we'll do a little slate gray on these. And then we'll glue Buddy together. All right. And then the bottom edges of these. Alrighty. Now we're going to get some glue happening. All right, ladies, let's go. So we'll get this on here. Let's get them put together so we know where we're headed. What road we're headed down. Face. I know I still have to color in his eye that I messed up. my little mishap. Foot, foot, foot. Already he's looking pretty cute, and I'm still not finished with all his little details, but look how stinking cute he is already. Hello, Laura. Okay, so let's get to gluing some stuff. All right. I'm fearful, sisters. Let's make sure we get it lined up proper. All right, let's get your head on here. Let's just jump in. Let's do it. I don't want to mess him up. He's doing so cute. All right. We'll line up his little head. Fabulous. Get his horns on. He is, isn't he, Barbara? I think he's adorable already. We're still going to add some extra stuff here in a second. Super fun, too, to put him together. He's stressing me out a little bit. I am going to grab me some marigold, or I guess it's not marigold that I have here. Do I have some close by? No. Well, we're going to have to dive into the old antique gold then. I kind of interchanged the two. So I'm just going to dry brush a little bit of this on here, on his ears. On his head. Get some contrast color going here first. In all these little center areas where I didn't shade. Yeah, he could be a puzzle. They did. It's like puzzle pieces for sure. But I mean, all the little pieces just make him look 3D too, which is kind of cool. Now we're going to put a little bit on his tail. And then all these little spots that are going to peek through. I want a little bit on his face in here. Picky, I know, but I'm doing it. We want our cow to be fabulous. Fabulous. And then this is the part that goes just under his chin. So I'm just doing that too. Just before I glue any more pieces together, I wanted to do this. I felt it in my bones that I had to do this. All right, enough of that. All right, let's get his face on. Sheesh, throwing my glue around. His little mug. So all of these etch lines are here so that you know, basically you can't mess up. Now I can mess up because that's what I do, but I think these will be easy for you. Somehow I still managed to make boo-boos but along the way, but that's why all these little etched lines are here, so it makes it easy for you to put them together. All right, we'll get this on here. This is a little neck piece, which fits right under his chin. And then we can add this letter, which is etched out here for you as well, so you can see where that goes. Great. Just hold that for a second. And I think we can put some feet on. Get that lined up. I somehow chipped my foot. We'll fix it up. We'll touch it up. There we go. So you have if you guys use this glue, you'll know you have, a minute or so to rearrange things, and then you don't. It just ends just all of a sudden. So you kind of have to get them where you want it and be confident about it. And then, because then you don't have any say in the matter after that. Letter. So he's not going together too badly here. So far, so good. Not as stressful as I thought. Because, it's just kind of like that Murphy's Law thing. I could sit here and do this by myself and have no mishaps. But when you're on a live, that's when it always happens. It always goes down on a live. See, already that's wrong. That's supposed to go over there. Yes, ma'am. I think that's how it goes. Pretty sure. See? Yep. We got it right this time. Okay, so we have little hearts to put on. Now, I didn't shade these, so let's do that while we're waiting for that to dry. I'll just put a little bit of black on the bottom of this red one. And I'll use a bit of my Cherry Merlot on this one, bottom edge of this one. We'll dry those.
Yes, that's true, Carolyn. And it's best for you to see me make the mistake so you know not to when you do it. Be like, oh, I know enough not to do that. I saw her make that mistake. I've had to pry pieces apart before. So I'm just putting a little smidge of white on the tops of my hearts. I don't want too much white on the red one. I want to be able to see the red. We'll dry those, get those glued on, and then we can add a few more little details to our cow. And then we have our little heart balloons. And then we can put them all together on his little stand. So I have the pink heart here. Might be running out of glue in this bucket. The pink heart up here. And the red one on the other one. Oh my goodness. He's like mind-blowingly cute, this guy. All right, I got lots of glue in here I have to get off. All right, I think that's good. All right. So I'm going to grab my little liner here. And I'm going to grab some buttermilk, I think. And we'll put a few little stray hairs on our guy. Let's see, for highlights, we'll see how that goes. All right, so we'll start up here on his ears. I'm just using my liner brush. Just going to add just some random hairs on here. We're not going to go too crazy. And if you don't like this look, I mean, if you get a kit and you don't want to do that little extra bit of hair adding, you don't have to do it. I mean, it's all what you like and what you want to do with your piece. I'm hoping that my pieces are glued enough that I'm not pulling them off. I think it's good with the extra little hairs. I like it. I like it. And we'll put a few on his little tail here. And here on his chin hairs. Down there. And where else can we? I think that's, we'll put a little highlight on his hips here. Over here on his hips. And his arm. Maybe down here on his little face where we can reach in there. I think that's good enough. Let's not go overboard. All right, I'm going to grab some white. And I'm going to put some highlights on his hands, you know, not his hands. You know they're not hands. His hooves. I'll just add too much water in my brush. Just add a little highlight on here. And add a dot and a little something something there. Oh, too much water and then not enough water. All right, let's come over on this side. What do you think? I like him. I want to bring this down a little bit here, which I was trying to do, and then I had too much water in my brush, not enough water in my brush. I was having a moment like that. Too much water. It was like faded out on me. We'll try it again. There. I'll stop messing with the poor feller. All right. Where else could we put a highlight? Oh, on his horns, I guess, but they're pretty light already. We might not see them super well, but we'll see here. I mean, I can see them, but you might not be able to see them on the camera. We'll add them anyway. A little highlight to his chin here. You know, a little bit up here on his nose. Okay, good stuff. What do you think? He is so cute, so adorable. Yes, he is. I love him too, Barbara. Top notch, says Laura. Yeah, it gives a little something something for sure, Sue. The little hairs for sure. Okay, so let's get our cow out the way. We're gonna just finish up our. We have this little stand because he goes on the stand here. He fits in this little slot like this, and this is how you see how he sits. I'll show you once we get it all together. I'll put the camera on facing front, and then you can see it. Which colors? I want to do this one red, I think. I'm going to grab a brush for this because I have to go around these other little hearts balloons. So I'm just going to put my gray on this balloon first before I put my red. This is a really crappy brush I have in my hand, but we're going with it. Another one that will hit the circular file when this is over. I'm weeding out all the bad brushes this week. Oh yes, I got to do his eye yet. Thank you for that. It's a little engraved area that I accidentally painted over, so I'm going to add, I will add his eye. Thank you for reminding me, whoever said that. Sue, yes, he does have an eye. I don't think you can see the engraving in there right this minute, but there's a little engraved kind of half moon shaped eye that I wiped my paint over. I should have dabbed over it because it would have stayed engraved. Anyways, we're going to replace it. But yes, thanks for the reminder, lady. You're the best. All right, so this one is going to be covered by this little 3D. See, it's all kind of 3D. So we're going to paint this one with this darker pink carousel paint color. So
that one goes on top. I'll set that up there so I don't get my hand in that. And then we'll do the lighter pink for this one up here. And I have gray in this brush. I'm going to rinse this out again before I put the second coat on. And I'm going to do my strings with that light pink as well. My balloon and strings. And there's a little bow on the bottom here. All right, let's dry all of these. We're close to getting done. Close to getting done. We've been on about an hour and 15, so that's not too bad for all the little details and everything we put on our cow. Not too bad. All right, let's get our second coat of this light pink on this top balloon. I'm going to use my sponge up here, I think. Just because, and then I'll paint my red one with my brush. Over my gray. We be touching up my strings. I got a little red on my string. Thank you, Cynthia. And sprinkle. Hello, Kelly. Welcome. Thanks for sprinkling too. Oh, it's frigid cold New Jersey. Yes, we're all dying in the cold up here too. Thank you, Charlotte. Thanks, Kelly. Oh, don't be. No worries if you're late. That's all good. You can always go back and watch the replay. Hi, Miss Connie. You guys are all popping in out of nowhere there. Okay. So I just need to touch up my string because I got a little red down here. And I think that red is fine. I'm not going to touch it again. This one might need a second coat with the carousel pink. It's not quite covered. And then we can do a little shading. We can put this together and then we can get our whole guy together. The whole guy. Now, while those are drying, I do want to paint my, I think I'm just going to paint this with some buttermilk, if I get the words out. I just want it to be light. I don't want it to be dark because his feet are dark and then we might just lose his feet in the bottom there. So I don't want to do that. So let's just do it with some of this. We'll put a little skiff of, it'll be close to the natural color of the wood anyway, but with the laser you get a few little scorch marks where the cuts are, and I just want to cover those up too. It's not fancy looking.
We'll hide that little etchy mark there. All right, let's dry that. Thank you, Donna. That's better. I like that better. We're good. All right, let's get our balloons together here. So I'm going to take a little bit of this black and I'm going to shade my red balloon. Just a little bit on this bottom edge here. Maybe I'll use some, no, I'm going to go with the black, I think. Let's go with the black. And then I'm just going to put a little bit kind of where it rests against. And I'm not going too dark with this because I don't want it to overtake my red. I'm just putting a little bit on there. Very little. Black can kind of get away on you quickly. That is good. We got a good shadow there. This color, I think I'm just going to do, I'll do some of that carousel pink. We'll see how that works on my light pink. Yeah, that'll do. So we're just using the darker pink that I used to shade this lighter one. That works for me. Now you could probably, you know, if you wanted to put XO or something on your little balloons, you could. I mean, I'm not going to, but I mean, if you wanted to, you could put, you know, use them like those little sweetheart candies, you know, put the words on them or something. All what you want to do. So I'm just using a bit of my Cherry Merlot on the bottom of this one. And then we're going to highlight with a bit of white on all of these. Okay, a little bit of white, and then we're going to glue together. I'm going to add some little highlight lines once we get this all together with my liner brush too. Once we get this glued together. So I'm just going to put a little bit of white on my string too. Just kind of here and there. I'm not getting too particular about it. I'm just going to kind of slap it on there, here and there. And we'll dry that and we'll glue. Alright, so we just have the one balloon to glue on here. I think this is getting close to being empty. Oh, there's still a little bit in there. Enough in there. So we'll glue that one on there. Excuse my filthy fingers. I have paint all over me. Looking at myself going, oh my gosh, you have it everywhere. What they must think of me at work. Sometimes I can't get the paint out from under my fingernails. I go to work and it's like You know, I feel like a mechanic or something that can never get their hands clean. Terrible. Almost there, ladies. We're almost there. Okay. So there's our hearts. So let's get our little highlights on those, and then we'll just put them on his stand. Bring over our little mailbox too, so you can see that too. Okay, so let's get some highlights on this one up here. We'll add a couple dots and a line, like so. We'll maybe add some little highlight dots on there. And then same here, we'll add a few little highlight dots here. Thanks for sprinkling, Sissy. Appreciate that. Okay. There we have it. I think our painting is done. Oh, I'm going to lie to you right there. Just lied to you. I want to put a little bit of highlights on here too with my liner. Done lied to you. Okay, so I wanted to add a little bit on the handle. A little bit down here, maybe. Up here. You know, just add a little something. Again, with the too much water. We will suffer through this, I'll tell you. We're almost done, and I'm still messing around with this water in my brush. I think that should do it. What do you think? That looks good. All right, now we're ready. We're ready, girls. We're ready. So this little guy fits in the slot. Right up in there. And then, oh, his eye. Charlotte, you're the best, my friend. You and Sue, you got my back. So we're going to grab some black with our liner. Before we glue him in there, that would have been a catastrophe. So in here, in this little, I got to concentrate. This little engrave mark in here. Takes much, and see, if you guys get one of these, don't do what I did. Just pounce over top of your engrave line, because you won't have to do this. It will already be there, see? But I filled mine right up with paint by accident. So I have to suffer and put his eye back on. Okay. He has an eye. Can you see it now? It's just a little comma mark, basically. Thank you, though. Highlight a bit up here on the top of his hair. Okay. Here I thought I was being picky. Y'all are being picky now. See? Y'all are being picky. All right. So up here, we will add a little highlights. Okay. Is that better? There we go. How's that? Good? Is that good for you, Laura? I hope so. So we got his eye. We got a few little highlights on the top of his head. I think we're good now. So we're going to glue this guy into this little slot. Like so. So we'll get him in this little slot first. We'll see what we got to do here. So he goes in the slot, and then this kind of, I think it has to glue like to the back of, yeah. So I'm going to turn this around so you can see. I think I'm going to just, maybe I'll just bring this up like this. So I think what has to happen here is he goes in the, oh, we're going to back up. He goes in the slot like that. Then the little mailbox glues to the back of his foot back here and the back of his ear. And then this, of course, will glue onto his hand like so. So I have to kind of do this laying flat. So I just wanted you to see. My hand's kind of like so totally in the way there. But that's kind of where we're going with it. Oh dear. There we go. So that's kind of how it goes. But it's hard for me to get my hand out of the way here. Anyways, that's what we're doing. So we'll move this back. All right, we'll go back here. There we go. Okay. So I'm not trying to be out of the camera shot. I just need to face this front here for a second. I want to get this guy glued down. I want to put a little bit inside that slot too, so he doesn't move around. Get in there, feller. All right, so we'll hold him there for a sec. I'll read some comments while we're holding this. He is Kelly. I think he's cute too. All right, there we go. Once we get him in place, we'll be able to do the rest of it without any problems, I would think. Alrighty. I don't know how much glue I have left in this bottle either, which is kind of problematic. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I know you're seeing the top and the back of all of this, but it's not intentional. I have to get him in position. Position. Ah, I see. So that little curve right there, fits right up against his foot. So that makes total sense. I just want to show you that. Now that he's glued, I can show you. Let me come back here. So this little curve on the bottom of that letter fits right up against his foot. So that's where you know where to stop. And then on this back side, you can see where you need to glue. We have to glue just to the back of his ear and just to the back of that foot. Making sense? Making sense to me. Heaven's sakes. Okay, we're going back in. I just wanted to show you that because it was a revelation on my part too. I was like, oh, there's where it goes. All right. My surface is not flat, so I have this really lumpy, bumpy kind of cover thing here, and this is not wanting to stay. Hold the bus. I gotta get some glue out of this thing. We will get this guy together, I swear. Okay.
So I'm going to put some glue on the back of his foot where I know that's going to rest, and I'm going to put some of that right there in those two spots so I don't over glue things. So that rests right against the foot. And hopefully I got it. Oh, I did. Right in the glue. No, missed that one by a long shot. Let's pull that down. Missed it by a mile, girls. Missed it by a mile. Okay. Let's hold it all together here. I think the hardest part was gluing these pieces together. Oh my goodness. He is cute though. See him? How cute he is. All right. So I have a little smidgen of glue to get out of here under his ear. I don't like that. Now we just have to add the balloons on his hoof here. Hoof. And this kind of sits right here. I hate to even cover any of this stuff up though. But I think it kind of rests. See, we're covering up his little horn there. I don't like that. But we're gonna have to do it, I guess. We're gonna have to do it. So yeah, I think it kind of goes right about, let's see. I'm rushing it. This wasn't stuck. Okay, we're gonna have to talk some more while I glue this. Would the balloons fit on the opposite side also? Do these pieces need to be top coated? I don't top coat mine. I mean, they're not going outside or anything. I mean, you could top coat them, but I have not top coated any of mine. I need to just hold them for a few more minutes, seconds. But I suppose you could put the letters on, or the balloons on the other side. We could see what it looks like on the other side. It's looky. I hate every time I set it down, it's not quite set yet. So I suppose you could put them over here. Maybe that would be better. What do you think? That way I can still see his horns. Let me back this up a little bit because that made that. What do you think? This side? What is the verdict? I kind of think that they're better over there too. Just because my surface isn't flat, like I said. I just wonder if it would be too heavy. I don't know. I think I'm going to put them over here. I think I'm going to put them here. It kind of seems a little more cohesive. Again, if you want to grab a kit and you put your balloons wherever you put them, girl. Wherever you put them. I'm going to put them here. I think I just don't want it to be lopsided on that one side. If that makes any sense to you. It might not stand proper. All right, so let's get that there. We're just going to do it. We're going to cover up the poor fella's horn. I know you liked it on the other side, But I did put them here just because I was afraid that if I put it there, it might lopside because it kind of hung over. I think if you painted the opposite side, flipped them, and then they went up this way, it would have been okay. But I don't think it was a good idea. I know. See more of the cow. Yeah. It's okay. Again, if you buy a kit, you can glue them wherever you wanna. I won't be offended at all. Not a bit. I need some more glue back here, ladies. I need some more glue. I don't think he's sticking. It's doing me dirty because it didn't want to be here, I guess. You guys didn't want it here. I'm gonna blame y'all. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Sometimes that happens. All right. I think we got it this time. Oh my goodness. Done stressing me out, these balloons. I want to get this glued so I can stand it up and show it to you without my fingers all over it. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight, ladies. It's always good to have someone to chat to while we're doing this. Let me just get my glue gobs out here. It's starting to thicken up, so that's a good sign. There. Okay, I think it's going to stay. All right. So let me flip myself around here again. So there he is in all his little glory. What do you think? Oops, we got to get him centered. I like him. He's fabulous, actually. You know, I'm pretty impressed with how he turned out. All right. So if you're interested in one of these little shelf sitters to paint for yourself, you can, thank you, Kelly. You can hop on over to that link that I pinned and grab yourself one. Till midnight tonight, they're 25% off. So after that, they go to regular price. So you can check that out. And also, I'm going to put up the link for the wooden whimsy box as well if you want to get in on the blank box for this quarter. They ship out January, April, July, and October 4 times a year, and you get 3. Oh, thank you, Barbara. You get 3 blanks plus a bonus blank, so you'll get 4 blanks per box per quarter. And then we'll also be in a private group. You'll join a private group where we will do all the video tutorials, just like this one, to put them all together and paint them. And yeah, that's it. All right, so I'm gonna just let me just see if I can pop that link up here too for you while I'm here, and then I'll get out of your hair, right out your hair. I have some painting tutorials to do tonight for my ladies in my membership group. They're waiting on me, so we have to do that as well. So this is the wooden whimsy box per subscription. You can check that out too if you are so inclined to pop over to the website, to the shop, as per se. Come on, pasty. There we go. All right, it's coming your way.
Okay. So thanks for hanging with me, ladies. We will see you all again soon. I think I'm back Tuesday night live for another Craft Around the Clock segment. And then, of course, Thursday again for Thrifty Thursday. And we're not sure what project we'll be doing, but it'll be another cute one, I'm sure. All right. Thanks for